Hello, hello! Welcome to how to teach useful behaviors to your dog and how do you set them up for success. So the first part of this video, very aptly black and white, the first part is the learning environment and the dog. How do you set this up to be conducive so that you can teach the 3 behaviors that can be very useful for you? Today I'm tackling jumping up, touch, and watch me or focus. Let's go! When you think of having a suitable learning environment for your dog, think of it as meeting a date in a restaurant. You need to have the right environment, right? And what consists of a good learning environment? One that makes you not so nervous. So we are looking for quiet, conducive environment for the dog, and needs to be neutral for the dog as well. So what is neutral to us may not be neutral to the dog. For example, you may have had a bad association with that particular restaurant. You don't like it there. The last time it was where you had bad food, and now you're just like, get me out of there. I don't want anything. I don't want to do anything in that restaurant. And secondly, we're going to look at the different props, the different things, the things that you have in the restaurant itself. So this can translate to training tools. Before we want to meet our date, we're going to prepare ourselves, right? So we're going to make sure we got the roses, we're going to make sure we got a gift, something to surprise the date that we want to have. So in this case, for training tools, that can mean before you start your training session, you're going to want to load up on your treats. Do you need a clicker? Do you need to have a camera, for example, which is something that I love because when I work alone, I'm able to review the footage of what I have in a situation where I would have otherwise missed because I'm so much in it, right? Just like you went to the date and you're like, the moment you get back home, you're like, should have done that. Could have done that, shouldn't have done that, things like that. So these are the things. You also want to have some sort of a control over this particular restaurant/training space that you have decided on. You want to have some control because let's say you do not know that the restaurant is actually booked out. It's really busy, really noisy, and it's a bit too much of a distraction for you. In this case, working with your dog. So you want to choose something that is low distraction, and that if there are distractions, these are distractions that you can control. For example, you're meeting the date, okay, and then you want to have a birthday cake surprise. This is a distraction that if the date goes well, you say, bring out a cake, you can have that distraction. But if the date is already feeling not so steady, you are like, oh, hold back on that birthday cake. Distraction is also not all bad. For example, you are halfway having your dinner and then suddenly the music band starts playing and the date asks, oh, is it? You did this for me? You can pretend and say, yeah, of course, I planned it, So things can happen during a dog training session where we didn't encounter the distraction, but that doesn't mean we cannot use it as a learning opportunity. In fact, if you think that the distraction is of a good enough level, not too difficult for the dog, you can attempt to use it to continue training. But of course, if everything is overwhelming for you and your date, in which case you as the trainer or your dog, take a break. Hey, I'm gonna go to the toilet, right? Take a break and then come back at it, and both of you will be in much better mind space. Which brings me to my next point. How can we prepare ourselves and our date, in this case, the dog, when it comes to training? Well, make sure that you have something in your stomach. Otherwise, all the excitement of meeting this person in this restaurant is going to make it a bit difficult for you to hold on to things. So make sure if you are training your dog, make sure to give them something, to have something as an appetizer before you train so that they do not train on empty stomach. On a more serious note, this also goes to, are the dogs able to relieve themselves before that? Have they been able to sleep quite okay? Are they in any sort of pain in which case you should avoid training altogether. So making sure that we take care of the pyramid of needs, making sure that we take care of the basic physical needs first, as well as emotional needs before we look into training new behaviors. Because when all these things are in place, then we are in a better mindset to be able to learn. And as with all dates, it helps to have a goal in mind. So when it comes to training goal, we can be thinking, what is the one behavior that I really want to focus on for this training session? And how can I set up the conducive environment in order for you to have that goal? So in the case of like the restaurant and our date, we are thinking, I want to bring the girl home, or I want to have a second date, or my goal is just to meet the person and be open about it. So depending on what is your training goal, you also need to tailor what I call the rewards currency, meaning to say things that you use to reinforce. And here we encourage you to positively reinforce your dog. That means to encourage, give them treats, give them praise, give them attention, to encourage them to perform a certain behaviors that we want to see more. Especially when you're training new behaviors, you want to be having a variety of treats. These are, sometimes people call it low value, mid value, or high value treats. So if you think of high value treats, it can be something that's smelly or the dog really likes, which doesn't reflect the actual cost value of the item. So my foster dog really likes the cheap meat jerky, the processed ones, over fresh meat. I'm like, okay, cool. So you need to tailor, again, what your date likes to what you offer. So tailor your treats to what is your dog's preference. It can be that your dog doesn't like treats, your dog likes to play, and that's totally okay because your date can be as varied as there are humans. And finally, when you're at the dining table, you're going to start your training. And where do you start? Will you start asking about simple questions maybe? So always start simple because that can lead us into the main meat of the conversation more easily. So for example, you start with something that you already know. For example, you are asking the person something that you have already chatted about before you meet this date, for example. So in this case, it can be, I'm asking the dog for a sit, and then it's a sit and new behavior. So we start easy and we build a good positive learning environment for the both of us. And finally, sometimes despite all our good intentions, the dog is just simply overwhelmed. In the case of the date, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, and now your dog would not listen to you, you can not distract it, it is going wah, over things that you cannot control in the environment, and in which, in this case, it means that the dog is not in a mindset to learn. So similar to a date, it's okay to call it quit. We have enough for today. Let's try another time. Or not, in the case of a date. But with training, you can always come back at another time if your dog is over the threshold of stress or excitement, because the dog is not in that mindset. Hello, so today we are going to try touch. So touch is, for the first part, when you first introduce your dog to touch, which is a form of targeting, that means targeting one part of the dog's body to an object or to another of your body part. In this case, it's the outside of my hand like this. So my end goal for this behavior is I want the dog to, when I say touch, it goes like that. The dog does know some form of touch already, so he might be skipping some steps here and there. We might go a little bit faster depending on how comfortable he is. So let's go. So the first step is having a treat in your hand and letting the dog see that you have a treat in the hand, and then you cover it. Yes, he does it. Very good. So having a treat in your hand, letting the dog see that you have it, close it, okay, and then offer it to the dog, and only when it touches only this thing, and we will offer the treat, right? He's trying everything that he can because he has worked in the past, Today we want to ignore all of those good behaviors except for that. Yes. So he's nudging a little bit strong there. I don't really like that, but I'm going to accept it at this point. Yes. Very good. Let me try now without the treat and see if he gets the idea. Yes. Very good touch. Good boy. So I open my hand right there. I don't need to do that. I will keep practicing myself. Milo. Yes. It works. Good boy. And for such success, the fact that I recall him and he went straight to that, you get a treat bonus. Good boy, yummy. Oh, yummy, cheesy. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, so he has gotten the idea, and then I want to vary the level of which I ask for this, so it's not just boring eye level. We want to vary and see if I change my position and if the dog changes its position, whether you can still get the idea of what is time. To help him out, since it's a bit more difficult, I'm going to have a treat again in my hand, maybe a different hand this time, right? And start easy. Yes. Very good. You ready? I try one more, just for fun. Yes. You just went nose dive into it. So cute. Can we try to use the keyword now to try to see if we can incite that behavior for you? He's trying to pull, he's trying different actions. Ready? Now I'm going to sit down here and I want to see if he knows that. Touch. Yes. You know, you could. Very good. Let's try another level. Milo, touch. Yes! Good boy! Yay! Oh my goodness. He's such a good boy. He's such a good boy. Ready? I gotta make it more difficult for you. Ready? Milo, touch! Yes! Wow, bravo! And he offers to sit after that. Very good. Ready? On the floor this time. Touch! Yes! Wow! So cool. Ready? Difficult. Extra difficult, okay? Be ready, okay? Touch! He thinks I'm doing this, which is an action that I always do, right? It's okay. He's not getting it, so I'm revamping. Make it easier for him, Milo. Yes, very good. Yes, very good. So he's interested, which is good. Yeah. So he associates that direction to just that, right? He doesn't recognize that this is a different hand signal. So this is what we call he hasn't been able to distinguish that for now, but we'll teach it, don't worry. So I also like to train touch in the beginning as a way to recall the dog. So I would toss a treat. Get it? Yes. And I just build this repetition so that, get it? Good boy. Come. Yes. Very good. I asked for a little bit more there, to ask for a sit also. But technically, he only needs to touch his nose to my fist. Get it? Yes. Sit. Good. You ready? Very difficult this time. Yes! Good boy! Bravo! Trainer bonus! And we're going to end our breakfast. We're going to end our training session here. Very good boy. With a trainer bonus. That was very good, but he specifically aimed for that spot and he knows that. Good boy. Last one to wrap up. Yes! Very good. Have it. And now we're gonna just feed our breakfast the usual way. So teaching watch me, it's a very useful command because you will want the dog to focus on you before you can give further instructions. It's also great in the face of distraction and you want the dog to have its attention back onto you. Good boy. All right, let's start. So first I'm going to take a treat and show it to the dog I have it. And then I'm going to hide it behind my head. So inevitably it starts looking at me and I can mark it and then I can treat the dog. So this is the basis for watch me. And now I'm going to try and test if the dog can do that. It will try to do other type of behavior. My idea is that I'll be ignoring that and only reward when he managed to look at me. So you can see he's going to his place because it has gotten him some rewards in the past. And I'm just going to try again. Show him I've got a treat. Hide it behind my head. But now he's like looking around this area. I don't quite like it. I'm going to slowly bring it to the front of my head. Very good. So naturally he looks at where the treat is, and the idea is to first have this and slowly I can introduce the keyword watch me. He's trying again. So again, I show him this is what I have. So he's getting it. He's getting it. I'm going to try this time just using some sort of a lure to a hand signal to see if he can get it. So I'm obviously, I don't have anything here. I'm just bluffing him. And I want to try to see if I can get his attention. Very good, watch me. So alternatively, I can use one hand as the lure and another hand giving the actual treat itself. So for example, I have one treat here and I am also going to hold my clicker here. And this is the lure, this is the fake lure. Watch me. Very good. So I can have this hand for free and I can still reward the dog. Now you are becoming a master. You want a break? Break. Good boy. Ideally, you want to train up the dog to the extent where they are able to turn their gaze onto you just by you saying, watch me. Let's try. Watch me. Wow, that was very good. Okay, break. Watch me. So I waited for him to look at me to have that eye contact before I actually reward him. There you go. This side here. In the beginning, you may want to actually only when the dog is looking at you that you add the cue word. So and slowly later on, the keyword becomes the cue to actually do the action itself. So in the beginning, it can look something like he's looking at me right now. Watch me. And a reward. Okay. Later on, though, it can. Later on, though, it can be. Watch me. And then a reward. Okay. Watch me. Very good. Watch me. Very good. Yeah, get it. Yeah, yeah. Watch me. Very good. So I'm making use of him being started with the neighbor next door. The door was slamming, and to quickly redirect him to a watch me, and he did. So this is very good. I'm going to give him a bonus. Watch me. Yes. Good. Watch me. Boy. I'm just having my food. Watch me. Yes. Very good. Watch me. Watch me. Yes. Okay, all done. Yeah. Good example. Perfect human example. They are just waiting for him to calm down. And then I will try to get a sit. And once I can get him to sit, then the reward will be hugs and cuddles from them. Here. Milo, sit. Yes.
Oh,
and then,
very good.
Very good. Wow, that was very good.
Exactly what
Yeah.
we did. Good morning, Baba.
So he's not sitting anymore, and then it's like, yeah, exactly.
妹妹不没有给他 command to 叫他什么啊
还没有，
？lift it 啊，还没有会 lift it，
叫他一下子啊。
很 agitated。
Very good.
Eh, 这个 video 要 submit 给老师啊。
Good boy. Good boy. Very good boy. You want to say hi? I'm going to say
I say hi to Snack well.
Get over here. Okay, great. Okay. Happy, happy? Okay, you can say hi if you want.
Oh, oh.
Leave it. Yes, very good. Very good. Okay, great. You're like, who's this? Who's this?
Sit. Very good. Sit. Okay, sniff. Good. Very good. Sniff. You wanna sniff? Sniff. Good sniff. Very good sniff. Okay, break. Good boy. So I can prepare my food in peace. If he wants to sniff, he can sniff it when I offer it to him. But otherwise, he's like, good boy by the counter, okay?